Just to go back for a minute to the idea of yin and yang about storytelling versus facts, these guys are radicals. Pete Buttigieg is a radical. He is talking about radical abortion. He's talking about radical increases in taxes. He's talking about eliminating Jefferson, stop honoring Jefferson. Let's play that cut. I love that. They kind of overplayed this. They said he wanted to eliminate Jefferson from history, but he said he was talking about Andrew Jackson. He said Andrew Jackson should be utterly abandoned because of the genocide. I guess he was talking about the fact that Jackson won the Indian Wars, making expansion possible. But then he goes on about Jefferson.
You said the other day, you seemed to indicate that you had some troubles with the racial history of Thomas Jefferson, and you suggested that some of the things honoring him, for instance, the traditional Jefferson-Jackson Democratic dinners, that they should be renamed. How far would you carry this? Would you rename streets? Would you rename Jefferson's High School?
My campaign office is actually on Jefferson Boulevard. Look.
So are you going to change the name?
I'm not planning that. No. But I think there's a reason why Democratic parties, when we're thinking about for the future our events, especially think about how burning of an issue something like racial equity is, we're thinking twice about naming our events after Jefferson and Jackson.
So he goes on to say that he doesn't like Jefferson because Jefferson knew slavery was wrong, but he didn't do anything about it, which is like saying that Isaac Newton knew how science worked, but he didn't invent the electric light bulb. When you're born into a system, it takes a long time to overcome the fact that there you are and your economy depends on it and your life is always, and you're used to it and all this stuff. Even a man as great as George Washington took a lifetime to really figure out slavery because he was immersed in it. And I think that George Washington is a considerably greater man in every possible way than Pete Buttigieg. But my point is that these guys, this is a radical rejection of America. It's a radical transformation of America. That's what they're talking about. And but because Pete Buttigieg is personable, and because he's intelligent, and he is, and because he presents as a decent individual, they're going to sell him to you as mainstream. Here's Joe Scarborough, who has become kind of the mascot of the mainstream media. You can always depend on just a mainstream media point of view coming out of his mouth. Here he is talking about this town hall.
I've seen the future of the Democratic Party, and it's Mayor Pete. It may not be in 2020.
Right.
Perhaps it's in 2024 or beyond, but this guy is going to play an important role in the mainstreaming of the Democratic Party for many years to come. And believe you me, that is exactly what he does. Regardless of ideology, Mayor Pete mainstreams a Democratic Party.
So think about that. Regardless of ideology, he mainstreams the party. What could he possibly mean by that? It is the ideology of the left, the Dragon Queen ideology of the left, that is the problem. That's the problem. I don't care about anything else. I don't care what they look like. I don't care, what they talk like. None of that bothers me. It's the ideology. So what could it possibly mean that Pete Buttigieg mainstreams the party, right? I mean, maybe there's some virtue signaling in there where he's telling you how woke he is about gay people. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. But basically it means he looks good. He presents well. I agree. He looks good. He presents well. He is a radical left-wing ideologue. And so the ideology is the problem. And see how they're selling you that story because it works for them, because they're yin people and they don't understand why the yang people are saying, whoa, 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 whoa. The fact is he's a left-wing ideologue that doesn't mainstream anything.